Snowy Splendor. Short stories. Black Tulip. Story 5. There once was a wild natural land. There were huge mountains and immense valleys. Great mountains and valleys had covered this natural land from everywhere. It was a wild and ruined area. No human being had ever selected this ruined area to cultivate it. There were no running streams or water, except a seasonal rain. Even that seasonal rain would now and then never fall. Even the wild beasts and animals would never like to live here. Most of the travelers called this area the Ghost Land. Its plains were famous for eddies. A powerful dusty wind would regularly blow from one to the other corner. Being uncultivated region, there was no human being in the surrounding region. Dust and wild winds were the only ruling power of this ruined land. Now and then a caravan would cross through these valleys. Each caravan would try to pass it as quickly as possible. There was no water. No useful plant could be found as fruit or food except wild roots and shrubs. Some thorny bushes would also cover the whole area. These wild bush and plants would grow in large numbers. When these wild bush and plants could get a yearly rain or snow in winter, they would flourish well. Otherwise, this part of the land would most of the time remain deserted. It always remained wild and dangerous even for the wildlife. Each area of the planet Earth, despite its dangers or wilderness, contains its purpose of life. Each purpose follows an action of life. Wherever or in whatever shape or figure life is produced, its production contains the beauty and force of quality. This place had one quality. This quality was not available anywhere in the world, and the quality was that it would produce a wild black tulip in the very beginning of the springtime. But they would bloom for a few days or weeks only. This kind of black tulip was not available anywhere in the world. This black tulip was the gift of the nature producing shapes and colors. It was the season of black tulip. A black tulip had grown on that selected part of the land. It was the only rare species that was gifted to the world. Change contains. Change sustains. And this black tulip would always bring a nice change with nice feelings in that wild area. Mornings rotate. They spin within years by rejoicing the reality that the new scene of newly born action starts. Every morning, like a storytelling, drops down from the container of unknown. It was early in the morning. The sun had just thrown the golden rays as its beauty. The nearest valley was full of the black tulip. The soil of the land had a sufficient snow. The rain had provided a lot of black tulips to this isolated part of the land this year. One of the black tulips, who was the head of its species, heard a noise. First time the tulip had experienced this kind of different sound. It seemed musical. There was a kind of rhythm in it. That was the sound of human footsteps in the atmosphere. An atmosphere feels and shows what it has received. An atmosphere does not hide anything. The sound remained constant. And attention always follows constancy. It was the sound of human footsteps which created its prints on the soil. It was an astonishing experience for the tulip during the passage of its short life. The tulips, who would usually have the shortest life in all kinds of flowers, it was the footsteps of a 3-year-old young girl, Sarah. She had come out of the tent of caravan. Sarah had seen the black tulip. She wanted to pluck it. She desired to take it away. She had an idea to feel it in her soft hands and fingers. A caravan had halted the previous evening. It had been prepared to move in a hurry. The innocent and young Sarah desired to get the black tulip. She wanted to touch it with her tiny soft fingers. In the meantime, her mother came up. She grabbed her. Her mother took her in her arms. The little Sarah was carried away. She was disappeared within no time. Most of the time this black tulip would feel a sort of loss that she was the only one who had got one of the shortest and the briefest lives. But now the black tulip had experienced that there were more shortest and briefest scenes, objects and appearances than hers. The black tulip could just look at the footprints of Sarah. The caravan moved away. There seemed no human beings anymore. A wilderness ruled the surrounding again. "What are you thinking?" asked the footprint of Sarah. "Oh." The tulip was surprised to hear the sound and voice of the footprint. It was talking footprint. "Did you address me? Do you speak my language?" asked the tulip from Sarah's footprint. Language is a cosmic force. It is innate. It is a sign. Signs can be found all over the world. Sign moves. It exists everywhere. We can speak all languages if we are convinced to understand each other. It's me. I'm talking to you. You are listening to me. We are both attentive to each other for the moment. We both exist in our interaction. Right now you are mine and I'm your foreground. We are set as well as pushed to face each other. Let's face ourselves with a good temper. I was just looking at you. You were drowned in a dream. Dreams are nice. I like them. But those dreams which can be put into practice and reality, said the footprint. You are welcome here in our world. Nice to see you, said the tulip, having a nice smile of happiness on its face. Hey, may I ask you a question? Asked the footprint. Yes, why not? Replied the tulip. What is your quality? What is your purpose here? What is the meaning of your life in this wild world? Yeah? Asked the footprint. The footprint had its well-shaped form. Form suggests you what to do. If I ask you the same questions, will you answer first? Asked the tulip. Well, I am the symbol of journey of life. Secondly, I am the sign of an open eye. Thirdly, I am the symbol of a bright and clear forehead, answered the footprint confidently. Wow! The symbol of an eye, the tulip repeated surprisingly. Then the black tulip became silent. And who are you? Asked the footprint. I'm a black tulip, answered the tulip, looking at the structure of the footprint. For the black tulip, structure was the meaning to tell how to do. Who created you? Asked the footprint. My purpose, answered black tulip briefly. What's the meaning and purpose of your life? What kind of quality do you represent? Inquired the footprint. My basic nature and character is extremely important to the world. But the world does not know me at all, said the tulip. What do you perform? What do you represent on this lonely stage? Asked the footprint. Well, listen. I have the quality of preservation. I protect and preserve the essence of the last drop of life, that is called oxygen. I save the very essence of the losing moisture. I am part of the setting. If all living and non-living objects lose the last drop of water on planet Earth, if there remains no oxygen, I present different pattern. That's called the pattern of life. I have different style, and that's called the style of coming life. I am the plant that will keep the last degree of the moisture to protect oxygen on planet Earth from being damaged. I can regenerate the life on Earth, answered the tulip, observing silence. I see. You are completely different from other flowers. That's your beauty. You are different even from the sunflower that has movement, murmured the footprint. There is a lot of difference between me and the sunflower. The sunflower moves its head with the movement of the sun. In that worship, it forgets about the pivot of its direction. I remain constant, being clear I got no desire of gold. I know the value of my direction, said the tulip. Afterward, there were no words. The sound pattern and the concept of mechanism was stopped. Silence again ruled everything. There was no sound. Only silence possessed the level of perfection for a purposeful meditation. In the meantime, a dusty wave came over the footprint, and the footprint of Sarah vanished within no time. But the black tulip had perfect sense of timing. It could guess that the presence of its given continuity and persistency were more durable than Sarah's appearance. The black tulip felt happy that her so-called short life was more long-lasting and continual than Sarah's outward show and her footprints. I'll try to remember you, my dear footprint. I'll preserve the impression and meaning of your sketch in my memory, said the tulip. It looked to the route of the west. At this time, the tulip started enjoying the vastness of the valleys and mountains for the time being.